The final altcoin buying window closes in 72 hours. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, keeping technical analysis short and sweet as always. Like, subscribe, donate, become a member on YouTube or Patreon to get exclusive videos and updates. Patreon has 20% off until next year. In the description below, you can find the reference link and the promotional code. And 50% of all subscriptions, donations, and stickers go to save animals' lives. And I recently found out Gemini is the algorithm YouTube uses to pump out my videos to new viewers by analyzing every word I'm saying. So here's a quick few keywords, something that I wrote up. For this technical analysis, we are looking at multiple altcoins that could see a major breakout. My price target is based on this classic chart pattern. Remember, this is not financial advice, but here's how to trade this setup if it hits your portfolio criteria during this bull market. So that's a little intro to hopefully pump out this video to more viewers, but let's actually get into the TA. So Bitcoin is actually looking very nice and healthy. We saw that we came down, held support on that upward trend line. It's amazing what trend lines can do and give you a better visualization of the potential outcome. So as we talked about previously, there is still the possibility to see something like this where we have the upward trend line and then it gets rejected, pulls way back, freaks everybody out before the ultimate pump. That's still a possibility. We could see this ease its way up. In the previous thing I just showed you, we eased up all the way over the 200 EMA, which would essentially be pushing this up to like 108, and then having that major retracement being down to 98 before taking off. But I think there is still the possibility to test this area around 85,000 yet again. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the altcoin season. Any day we have one green day, everybody starts to lose it and freak out and think that this is going to be the continuation. But in cryptocurrency, you need to keep a calm mind and know, don't just enter because, you know, it's looking like it's going to go up. We would need a close above this previous high to have that validation, and we would have pretty much this entire room to be trading within if we close above this area. So we'd have pretty much up to the 200 EMA right here before potentially getting some rejection and having that pull back. So if that is kind of visually appealing and you guys kind of understand what I'm talking about, let's move on. XRP is one I always bring up. I am going to be talking about XCN. I see on the analytics people just zoom over to XCN. It's, you know, there's other coins out there where you can be stacking your bag and earning massive rewards. XRP is one of those bags you should be stacking, as I always recommend. Some of my biggest bags are XRP and XCN. There's reasoning behind it, not just because XCN made a ridiculous amount of money in previous history at the beginning of this year, nearly 12 months ago. We've been looking at this. So XCN has done major things and it's not finished. We are starting to bottom out on that red line, or at least that is what the analytics are showing us. Volume is trying to pick up a bit. Price is also trying to increase, but we are getting some wick-offs here on XCN. We will come back to that because I want to do a little bit more technical analysis on it. But let's move into some other coins in comparison to XRP, XLM, and XCN. XCN is going to be following suit with the other coins that I am listing. And as you can see, HBAR, XRP, and XLM all had the liquidity sweep when we had the market manipulation on October 7th, more or less. Some got punished more than others, as this went all the way down to 10 cents from, that's nearly a 50% decrease in a few days on HBAR before pulling back up, working within this channel. But like I talked about previously, if we can close a higher low, which we did about 3 days ago, we could consider it a potential bottoming out and a potential push towards this downward trend line. It does have all this CM guppy to get through on HBAR, so I would like to see some consolidation over this midpoint, and then we'd be testing this 14 to 15 cent mark. And if we can get over that, this would be the range we'd be working within. And ultimately, we need to break this downward trend line like we've seen with many of the other coins, XLM as well. Tambien, right? So let's pull up XLM. And if you've seen my other videos, Tornado Cash is always one of my go-tos. If you are a member, you probably saw the video and have increased your profit by at least 10%. If you use the reference link, you get 20 USDT for free. So that's nearly 110% for free money using that reference link to trade on MEXC. But we'll talk about Tornado Cash here in a minute. So XLM looks almost identical to HBAR. HBAR looks more or less identical to XRP. All these are in correlation. They're all working within a downward channel. There's XLM. Let's see if HBAR pulls up real quick. There's HBAR. Let's pull up XRP. There's XRP. Everything is looking very similar and identical to the pattern that we have placed for all three charts. Maybe it's slight variations, but we all had the liquidity sweep on October. We had a downward trend continuation, and now we are starting to build higher lows, which can be potential for a base and start weaving our way through the CM guppy. Let's see if we can get a quick line in here. 50%. Come on, work with me. There's more or less the 50%. So we need to be getting over that line, which is essentially pushing into the CM guppy, which is the water that we are trying to fight against at this moment. XRP, as we've seen in the past, does liquidity sweeps right before taking off, almost like every other altcoin. It wants to do the shakeout, grab a bunch of money before taking off. So here's another example. We are trying to break out of this downward trend line, major rejection, major pullback, and you see that this low is lower than the previous low, which freaks people out. People start panic selling, and then people get bought up, and then they think, okay, maybe it is going to go up, and then it has a further retracement from the previous low, which means people think it's going to have that continuation all the way back down here to 34 cents, but that was just a liquidity grab, pushed immediately right above the 200 EMA, and then once that was held as support, all hell broke loose, and it went from 50 cents to nearly $3. We are expecting the same thing. So here is an example of a previous low. This is just one example. There are many within this chart, and we are roughly below. We closed below, had to push up. We could see it pull back a little bit more for a little bit more liquidity grab, but it's less likely as we are starting to build higher lows. It's still a possibility to have that one last push down. If Bitcoin does not start to pull up, we can see the rest of the market continuation and hopefully test support on this downward trend line. Let's move on to, let's get XCN here. People who are just here for XCN or have a big bag in XCN, myself as well, it's best to not look at the charts whenever it's in the red, but have an understanding of what the possibilities could be. I need to cut this video a little bit short. It's kind of longing, going, droning and everything. But XCN, we are trying to build a base. We do have a lot of resistance from this CM guppy, but these wick offs right here, even though they seem bad, are fairly good because it means we had that buy pressure. Some people selling off to try and get a little bit of profit on this way up, but it is starting to level out and trying to thin out the CM guppy. So the water's coming down. You want to get it into a nice trickle of a thin stream so we can hop over that and then work our way in between the top of the CM guppy and the 200 EMA. The CM guppy will start to flip to gray, and then we'll start to get it as support, and then that support will help us make it over that 200 EMA and potentially test this downward trend line. Is there still the possibility to hit 0.003? Yes, depending on what Bitcoin does, but if Bitcoin starts to pull up, we can expect XCN to do some amazing things here in the near future. December 1st was supposed to be some pretty important news. Nothing really important happened as far as I know. But it is getting a little bit stronger support at this low point. We see in previous history right around here, we had a little bit of rejection down to 0.0043, but immediately pushed way up here to around a penny and a half within a day. So a lot of stuff can change. If you haven't been stacking your bag of XCN, now's not a bad bet. There is still the possibility for that liquidity sweep, as Bitcoin has not solidified its movement upwards, and it's kind of a waiting game for XCN. For price predictions and all that, I'm not going to list any price predictions, but we do have a general idea with this right here that if it breaks that red trend line, there's the possibility for 451%. I personally don't think it's going to go that high immediately, but you may get some resistance around 0.027, 0.02, and 0.032 before we make it all the way up to the previous high around 0.05. A lot of people are going to be freaking out when it gets to that price point or even back up to their original entry. But if you're not good at scalp trading, I wouldn't recommend selling at that price at your break even or, slight losses, because it can move very quickly to the upside up to 4 to 5 cents. My iPad's starting to lag out now, so I'm going to finish this video. I may create one more for you guys, as I did have something to talk about ALCX and Tornado Cash and Dash. But good luck. Have fun with it. Like, subscribe, become members, check out Patreon. And yeah, that's it. Good luck. Have fun with it. I'll see you on the next one.